What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I'm Mr. Cincinnati. Podcast Dad is very much doing podcast dad things. He is tied up with the little ones, getting them home from school. So hopefully he will be joining me midstream. But thank you to everybody that is joining me tonight. You can find us on X and TikTok at Junkies Pod. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Junkies Pod. But most importantly, do us a huge favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on the road to 500 subscribers. Road to 1,000 subscribers. It's been a long day. I apologize. We need your help to get there. The current tally we have right now is 517. So thank you to everybody that has been subscribing and rocking with the Wrestling Junkies podcast. We just ask that you tell one person, tell your friends, tell your mom, bartender, therapist, sneaky link, situationship, doesn't matter who. While you're at it, tell them all about the Main Event Wrestling Network at mainevent_net on all social media platforms. If you like great live blogs, great podcast, short form content, trivia, you name it, we have it. Incredible group of guys that we work with. Tomorrow night, you can catch me on the On the Mark podcast with Mr. OTM. It sounds like the full-time part-timer and Tucky are unavailable, so I'm going to be stepping in, and I hope that I can do them some justice as I hang out with Mr. OTM. And we talk about everything happening in wrestling this week, including the potential return of AJ Lee this Friday on SmackDown. So again, you can catch that tomorrow night at 8, 7 Central. And show some love to our friends at Gorilla Press Apparel. If you are a wrestler, referee, manager, promoter, you need some merch for those tables on the weekends, go ahead and DM our friend Will at Gorilla Press APP on X. He is taking commissions right now. Shout out again to Bryce Cannon, who joined us yesterday. Make sure you follow our friends at Coastal Empire Wrestling at CEW Savannah on X. If you did not get a chance to check out yesterday's episode, it has been announced. 3 Stages of Hell match September 26th, and it's going to be an absolute shit's about to hit the fan. Shit's about to hit the fan. We've got first blood match, a tables match, and an all or nothing Texas death match. So shout out to Bryce, who joined us yesterday. Tomorrow we will hear from Dax Anthony as to how we got here, and I anticipate that it is going to be no shortage of just pure hatred is, I think, the best way to sum it up. But again, tomorrow night, 6:30 Eastern, you can catch that. Now, I think you guys have heard me talk enough. It's time to introduce my guest. I am joined by one of the brightest rising stars in independent wrestling, Vin Parker. He's based in Austin, Texas, and has quickly built a reputation for his charisma, tenacity, and his ability to connect with fans inside and outside of the ring. Trained by the natural Dustin Rhodes, Vin has competed for promotions like Rhodes Wrestling Association, Texas Wrestling Cartel, Inspire, and more. He's not only been making waves in the ring, but also through his YouTube vlogs, podcasts, and TikTok content, giving fans a behind-the-scenes look at the grind of pro wrestling. From clashing with Dustin himself to preparing for debuts at new promotions like River City Wrestling, Vin is proving he is the one to watch. So without further ado, please welcome Vin Parker to the stage. Vin, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Dude, that was a heck of an intro. That's like the best intro I've ever paid witness to. So thank you for that, dude. You rule for that. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. We certainly tried to do our homework around here, so I greatly appreciate the kind words. But enough about me right now. Let's ask you a few things. And here at the Wrestling Junkies podcast, when we look at pro wrestling, superheroes and supervillains that clash, but the one thing that they do have in common are origin stories. So if you could tell us some of your earliest memories of pro wrestling.
Man, like getting into the business or just like watching it on TV as a kid, because I got a whole bunch.
Whichever, yeah, no, it's whatever stuck with you and kind of the earliest thing you remember about the industry.
So funny story, like before I even really knew what wrestling was, I remember I was like 6 or 7 years old. My dad was a big fan of it growing up, and he would take us to this pizza place we lived around the corner of, and he's like, we were sitting in this booth, and he's like, hey, you know who's sitting right in front of us is a wrestler named Kevin Nash. And this was like my first memory of wrestling, like ever. And like I said, I didn't really watch wrestling at the time. So I was like, okay, so we're just watching these videos of Kevin Nash when I was a kid. And he's like sitting right in front of us. I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
Anyways, a couple years later, I start watching wrestling. We go back to the same pizza place. It was like a pizza place on the beach kind of area. My dad goes, remember when you were like 7 or 8 years old, you didn't know what wrestling was? And I showed you Kevin Nash when he was sitting right there. And I'm like, yeah, over there. He's like, yo, don't look, but sitting there again. I was probably like 12 or 13 at this point, and I knew who Kevin Nash was. So that was like my first like mark out moment. I was way too intimidated to even approach him, but that was like my first like experience really like with wrestling in general. But in regards to like me getting into like the business altogether, I knew I always wanted to do it. I just didn't know how. I'm sure a lot of wrestlers kind of can relate to that. I just didn't have like, the shining moment until it happened, right? So
Yeah.
I finished high school and I knew I wanted to do it, but like I said, it was like just around COVID. This was when COVID was really big deal, and didn't have any schools around me. So my only plan I really had was to just kind of go to the Air Force and just hope when I got out I'd have enough money to like move to a different place where they would have like a wrestling school that I want to go to. Um, and then like a week before I go to enlist in the Air Force, my dad shows me an advertisement for the Rhodes Wrestling Academy. And it was Austin, Texas, Rhodes Wrestling Academy starting in 2021, January 7th, I think it was. Um, and like seeing that was like my shining, like, oh, this is where I'm going. Like it was a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
So saw that, just trained and trained. I worked 2 jobs, sent in like the most cliche, it's on my YouTube channel, the most cliche like training montage video because I really,
Yeah.
really wanted to get Dustin's attention. I didn't want to just cut some like generic promo saying like, "Oh, I deserve to go here." I was like, "We're gonna go like Rocky Balboa with this thing, dude." So I had all these clips of me like training and getting ready to go to the academy or whatever. And I ended the promo with this was like me manifesting slash like maybe being a little bit of a mark. I looked at the camera and I said, "I'll see you soon, Dustin." And like flash forward months later, Dustin calls my personal phone number and he's like, "Hey, yeah, I saw your video, yeah." And he was telling me how that promo made him feel something, and he's like, "You got something." So he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna put you in my third camp," which was he called me like January 2nd, I think, of 21. The third camp happened August 27th of 21. And I just spent those 7, 8 months, whatever, just working, saving up money, and just training my ass off for something I didn't even know. I didn't even know how to train for it. I thought I did,
Yeah.
just like running, hitting the bag, stuff like that. And nothing humbles you like the first day of wrestling school. So you
Yeah.
hitting the ropes, getting the bumps, like. I just remember the end of that day, I was so, like, beat up, like, mentally and physically because I thought I'd be, like, somewhat good at this. I'm like, "Oh, Imma be, like, a natural, right? Or I'll
Yeah.
clean pretty good, like, pretty quickly." And, as a matter of fact, it was quite the opposite. Like, I was pretty rough for a couple of months, but, I hung in there, I was training even when we weren't, like, at the school. Like, me and a couple other buddies, we would just go to, like, a park around the corner where they had, like, a I don't even know what you call like a turf, like a squishy kind of like turf.
Yeah.
I don't even it was like a weird gated little area. I think it was like for people that are in wheelchairs, it was like a swing for that, but it was like a weird kind of
Mhm.
caged off area. So we were just training there because it was like soft turf and we just
Yeah.
work on rolls, we'd work on like different moves and just chain wrestling. And that was just what I dedicated my entire life to at that point. Just like that was like 4 or 5 days a week, just 3, 4 hours a day, working out, doing that. Like that was like I was just head over heels, I was passionate. So that was just pretty much my startup with everything here.
Yeah. And Dustin's a guy that, he's wrestled in 5 different decades and still
Mhm.
taking. What's the most valuable lesson you've learned from him so far?
Oh, with Dustin, it sounds cliche, but he says this all the time is just keep stepping, like
Mhm.
a lot of times I've like me myself and I've seen like paid witness to a lot of people and throughout training or throughout the business like get in their own head and think they're not good enough or they fail. Like at the end of the day, it's just about how you move forward and how you handle those losses. Like that's like his biggest moniker, and he's just like, just keep stepping, man, because even he struggles with that sometimes, So we were able to relate with him on that, and just the fact that he lives by that and he's so passionate about that one saying, puts it on everywhere in the
Yeah.
school, like um, he really believes in that message, and so that's something that resonated with me. Um, Especially because my dad would say similar things growing up. He'd say keep punching like Rocky Balboa. But so that those are just things I was able to kind of tie together and kind of like help keep me moving forward, no matter if it's the bad days or days I'm in my head. Just to know that I am working towards a bigger picture here,
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that you recently confronted Dustin in the ring at RWA, and there was a fiery response with some things I can't necessarily say on this show. Tell us about the tension between teacher and student right now.
I was a little frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. I got to that show anticipating working against one by the name of Jimmy House, and was informed that right before that show that Jimmy's unable to compete. Not to my recollection. So I'm like, so we just don't care about why are we not telling me this, but like in advance, right? Like how long before did we know this without kind of telling me, the guy that's also in the match, right? So I got a little heated, and I was expecting to just go out there and kind of like let it be known, like, hey, I'm pretty frustrated about this. And right as I was kind of getting to my point, I see Dustin just kind of walking through the back, and I don't know if he was like trying to sneak and kind of like duck his head, but I'm like, nah, man, like you don't want, I didn't really talk to him before the show all that much, but I'm like, no, hey Dustin, turn around, like what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here. I'm at every single show, Borderline Wrestling twice on the damn show, like, and now I'm just kind of forgotten about. So I was a little frustrated. Wouldn't say there's like heat between us, but like there's definitely like, what's up, kind of like I hope you didn't forget about me. So I made his presence known, I guess.
I like it. Well, hopefully one of these days we can look forward to that match. You certainly would have my money for it. It's been a busy summer for you, to say the least, and you've had some standout matches across Texas. What's unique about the Texas wrestling scene compared to the rest of the U.S.?
To be honest with you, I haven't really worked all that much outside of the US, but what I know for sure is how much there is in Texas, like just kind of talking to people that work typically out of state, like a lot of them are coming to Texas as much as they can just because of how popular Texas wrestling is, and like just the different style it is here. Like there's all sorts of different promotions that have all sorts of different styles. It's just this one big bubble, right? There's every state kind of has its own bubble of talent and companies and whatnot, but like Texas independent wrestling in particular has this bubble of talent that's just like truly remarkable, and we're all different and unique in our own way. We're all able to kind of bring something else to the table. Like you look at everybody on the RWA show or the Texas Wrestling Cartel show, like those shows in particular, like nobody's playing the same song in a way, right? We're kind of all playing our own song. We're able to provide something unique and different in our own way, as opposed to other states where you see a lot of the same song and dance, right? So
makes sense. So one of the promotions you're going to be debuting for in a matter of a week now, River City Wrestling against Brock Ali, and Brock's 17 years old and he's turning heads already. How do you prepare for someone that is young and just as hungry as Vin Parker?
Well, Brock, with him in particular, I was once in his shoes. I was once not 17, but 18, doing pretty good for myself in the business, have a good look, have a bright future, kind of being told all the right things, and it's what it does to you. I've noticed is it kind of builds your head a little bit, it gets to your head and you start thinking, man, I'm going to get, I must be really good, but something I paid witness to was with that big head, with that big ego, you think you put yourself in a headspace where you think like, oh, I'm better than this, I'm better than that, and so what happened to me was I was absolutely humbled, so what I think this match can speak on behalf for a lot of younger guys, only because I had the same thing happen to me, is those younger guys need that humbling, they need to be put in their place, and with all due respect, they need to be checked, nothing like a little quick like punch to the mouth won't kind of put them in their place. So that to me, not that I really want to inflict any sort of harm on this poor Brock Ali, but everything that he's being told, it's right, but it's going to come at a cost. So I hope to at least be a taste of what that humbling could do for him. And at the end of the day, I hope for whatever that humbling is, he's able to come back from that and become even better, So at the end of the day, I wish him nothing but the best, but he's got a hellstorm coming to him.
Well, you have described violence as something that makes you smile. So, how do you balance that dark edge with the clear charisma that you have outside the ring?
How do I balance it? Usually trying to, what's the word? I guess kind of like keep it under control in terms of like where I expend that emotion or that feeling, right? So I try to keep a lot of it
Sure.
in the ring. I try to not think with emotion outside the ring. I try to stay relatively cool, calm, and collected, like I am now. But once I'm between the ropes, and I'm staring off against my opponent, whoever it might be, like there's just a switch that goes off, and it's like, okay, time to do my job, time to do what I'm really good at, time to do exactly what I'm paid to do. So
Sure.
there is an element of like go mode. Like soon as my theme song hits, soon as the bell rings, like we're not friends anymore. And so outside the ring, you could be my best friend. I have a lot of good friends in this business, and I've faced off with a lot of those good friends. But when the bell rings, until the second bell rings, like I don't know you, and I'm here to do exactly what I'm supposed to do, right?
I get it. Yeah, that makes complete sense. Um, for those that don't follow you on TikTok, would like to have you tell our audience your three top merch must-haves if you're an indie wrestler.
Okay, if I can remember this, it was items that were easy to travel with. So I'm pretty big on merchandise when it comes to the indies because not all the time are you going to get paid what you think you're worth on the indies, and you can't always rely on that with, especially with certain shows that you want to be a part of, but they're just not able to make your rate what you think it should be. So I'm a big believer in merchandise, having any sort of items that you can bring with you that people can have, that they can remember you by, that they can support you with, and you can also just make more money. At the end of the day, everyone wants more money, right? So a couple items I remember where things that were easy to travel with, because when it comes to being on the indies, if you're traveling all around the state or all around the country, like getting flown out, you don't have a lot of spots or space in your suitcase. You want to find those items, whatever they might be, that are like easy to travel with. So like I think the things I mentioned were trading cards, mentioned stickers, 8x10s. Those things are just flat and they're super easy to just throw into your carry-on. You wouldn't have to worry about taking a whole separate suitcase. As much as everyone loves t-shirts, people buy t-shirts, they can be a bit
Yeah.
of an inconvenience to travel with. That's like a whole separate carry-on. You got to check a bag for that stuff. I'm big on t-shirts too. I like to do them like online, so I recommend having like a website for that. Um, or if I'm doing like a local show, I'll take a separate second suitcase or whatever just for my t-shirts, because people also like t-shirts. But I think the second one was like something unique, I believe. Uh, you want to find something that sets you apart, um, that people can kind of cling to. It's like, oh, we don't like no one else has this item on their table. Everyone else, for the most part, has the 8x10s, has the t-shirts, has the
Yeah.
stickers, maybe. You want to find something that like sets you apart. So I'm a big perpetrator with like trading cards, and then the I noticed wristbands go a long way with like the kids. Both of those items, like those are good items for like regardless of the age, the gender, like
Yeah.
people just like that stuff. Like not always am I gonna make a t-shirt design that's gonna fascinate both kids, young adults, like women, whatever. Like it's hard to find that one item that like everyone wants to represent. So I noticed that with like trading cards, because everyone and nowadays are trading cards is kind of on the come up again. um and especially with like indie talent that has like a foreseeable future ahead of them, having like the one of one actual rookie card of that talent, like who's to say, who knows how much that could be at some point, down the road. So having that like one of one rookie card, I think is like so cool to have, eventually when
Yeah.
they get signed or whatever, like WWE or AEW, New Japan, like they'll have their rookie card, but like you have the real rookie card, or like the wristbands are fun because like the little kids like the wristbands, and those are easy ways to kind of like I put like a word on there. Like you ever go to like the mall and you see like those wristbands that have like messages on there, people just like to represent. So it's like I have that. I'll put flawless on there because that's kind of my moniker. And I'll put like my social media on the back. So people when they're wearing it, they're representing the flawless, but then on the back, It'll have my social media. So if anybody asks, that's my social media on there with them.
I like it. I like it. Take notes out there, everybody. As we kind of gravitate towards the end of the interview here, I've got a few just rapid fire questions for you that just first answer that comes to mind. So if fans could only watch one Vin Parker match to understand who you are, which match should it be and why?
I had a really good one with Ethan Hunter at Baracho Pro. That's on my YouTube channel. I'm pretty proud of that. It was very vicious. It was very violent. Everything we did, like, you could feel it, just watching the match. When I watch the match back, I feel it, like physically. I know exactly what I was thinking in the moment. So that was a pretty good one. I was pretty proud about.
If you could book yourself in any gimmick match, what's your pick?
Dog collar. Always wanted to do a dog collar match.
Okay, I like it. Mad Dog Connolly, beware. Wildest fan interaction you've had so far at a show?
I don't know if that's PG. The wildest, I've had like a few. I've had some really, really crazy ones, but like the ones I can talk about, like,
I feel like this is why the Junkies need a Patreon channel now. It's exactly for shit like this.
Yeah, man. There's some crazy ones, man. Man, any of them that are like somewhat like, okay, I can talk about that. I keep thinking of the launch. I've had some fans like drive like hours to see me, and then a lot of them I noticed are very like touchy feely, which like to an extent it's fine. I understand. Yeah. Like you see the guys coming out of the entrance on Raw, like out of the out of the fans, like everyone wants to touch them, right? A lot of them are a little too much though, and I'm like, hey man, you got to pay for that, like you can't get too comfortable with me now. Like I've had some of them like that. I have a lot of people ask me to sign some very interesting things. So take that as you will. They don't have. I'm like, yeah. If they're like, oh, I don't have anything to sign, can you just sign this? And I'm like,
yep.
If you give me permission, I will sign that. And they're like, okay. So I'm like, okay. But as far as other things are gonna have to be on the Patreon. And if you guys start a Patreon, I'll share the story there.
Yeah. Who is the most underrated wrestler in Texas right now? Can't name yourself.
I think I'm properly rated. Underrated, I would say I want to think of somebody that I've personally worked with that I'm like, man, why is this guy not doing more? Man, I can think of a lot of overrated ones. Those ones, but I don't want to say that. I think most of those come to my head. Underrated, man. Trying to think of like the places that I work that I would eventually want to work those individuals. That's a great question. I wish I was asked that in advance because that's gonna take me like minutes to think about. I think, and I'm a little biased here because I'm a good friend of his. Cordell, for sure. Cordell on the Rhodes Wrestling Association, very underrated. Like once he kind of gets put in the right light, people are gonna really see what he can do, And so he just started up training about a little over a year ago, but there's something in his mind that just clicks and understands it. He just understands what a wrestling match is, like how to go about that, how to build it, how to what makes sense psychology wise, because there's a lot of people on the indies in Texas in particular that just kind of lack that. And wrestling can be anything and it's everything, but there's also an art to it. There's an emotion, you don't want to give the fans too much because when you do that, they expect this all the time. So he's starting to understand like the balance between just that, like knowing to give them something, but not too much to where they come back wanting more. So Cordell, Rhodes Wrestling Association, he's definitely like pay attention to him in the next couple of years because he's going to be something.
Love it. Final question, hardest one you're going to get all day. Mr. WrestleMania, is it Shawn Michaels or The Undertaker?
Man, I love Shawn. I really love Shawn. But like a lot of people, myself included, watched WrestleMania with one person in mind, and that was The Undertaker. It was always The Undertaker to me. Like as much as I love Shawn, I really do. I study him all the time. The Undertaker was just like, it just wasn't WrestleMania without him, you know? Even these recent years just hasn't felt like it. Even like, I would say for me, it kind of like it wasn't the same. And I got into wrestling pretty late, but I go back and watch it. Like there was a difference in tone, even when he lost the streak, because like there was always 3 matches in mind you had on the card. You know, it was always the main event, whatever that was, the blow off match of 2 guys that hated each other, and then there was Taker's match. Is he going to lose this year? No, he's not going to lose. There's no way. Yeah. And then he did, you know? So I feel like having that streak with Undertaker, like it just did something for that show. It just brought something that no matter who it was, like no one else could like replace that spot, you know? And so because of just that, I have to give it to The Undertaker. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of heat for that. That's fine. But right. I don't know. To me, Undertaker, like he just the emotion he created with me, you know, it was just like, yo, I felt chills. You know, I went to WrestleMania 33 in Orlando when I was younger, and even just like watching his entrance, it just like everything just like you felt it, you know. Yeah, and that's the most important thing in this business.
Well said answer. I'm team HBK all the way, but that's why we love to have this conversation. That's why we always end our interviews with that question. Vin, thank you so much for joining me tonight, man. It was an absolute pleasure. Before we let you go, where can everybody find you on social media? What do you have coming up? Where can everybody check you out?
So on social media, it should be Real Vin Parker for Twitter, Instagram. I don't think, or not at Twitter, it's X or whatever, but TikTok, if you want to see daily wrestling clips, I'm usually pretty good at that. I'll upload a clip of me in the ring. But as far as what I have coming up, other than like you were talking about earlier with River City Wrestling, this weekend I have debuting with Inspire, or not debuting, but kind of re-debuting in a way with Inspire Pro, or Inspire Victorious, I should say. And then Rhodes Wrestling Association, always subscribe to that on YouTube. We got shows every month if you want to check those out. And then me personally, I am starting my own podcast actually. So that'll be on my YouTube channel. It'll just be Vin Parker. It's going to be called Talking Tragedy. I already have 1 episode up, but I'm going to have start doing guests every so often. So my guest one should come out next week, if not the week after that. So stay tuned for that, and always shoot me recommendations of who you want to see on my podcast. But other than that, that's pretty much everything I got going on, everywhere that you can reach me.
Love to hear it. Well, Vin, thank you so much again. Give him hell the rest of this month in 2025, and hope to have you back on soon, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you again.
Take care. Thank you to Vin Parker for joining me, and thank you to everybody watching tonight. Let's Reset. Podcast Dad is in the building. What's up, buddy?
Hey, he was 100% right. It is The Undertaker. Thank you. There's no heat. No heat.
No heat. We ask every guest that question, and
no heat, just
think
me.
The numbers are about even at this point. I feel like, you know. So
I think
let's reset here.
All right. Let's reset. NXT. Look, real quick, real quick. I have the take.
Let's hear it. We got 6 minutes.
The man that is going to beat Obafemi is on the NXT roster currently.
Josh Briggs.
Yes. I'm on the Josh Briggs train. I think he can do. I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, it's working right now. It took him a while to get there, but
the heel turn is
it's working. It's work. I agree with that. Poor Javon Evans in the back of his head though, but
I'm calling it now.
Yeah,
Josh Briggs is the next NXT champion.
Okay, I like it. That's I'm not mad at that take whatsoever. The presentation has been very, very good over the last couple of months, and last night was no different. Probably get a win over Javon Evans at No Mercy, I would imagine. And then
It's happening.
on to this
happening.
point. That's this month. I think this is something that happens Halloween Havoc or closer to deadline.
Probably closer to deadline, I would think, because I think Oba's going to be in the Rumble.
Okay. I like that. The Jada Parker crash out, very, very real.
Yeah, we needed it.
Yeah.
We needed it.
I would like to see these two in the last woman standing of some kind. Like it's gotten physical. They're both more than capable of it, and this is a push that
crazy that we have a secondary women's feud that doesn't involve a title.
Look at that.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought that could actually be a thing?
Papa HB Shizzle,
Tony Khan. Come on, Tony Khan and Papa H. Don't do that very well.
Yeah, they don't.
HBK does. I wonder if it's because that's too discussion for another day.
Yeah.
How much do you think TKO plays into NXT? As much as because they definitely don't do as much as the main roster, right?
I would imagine so. It's certainly not as much as Vince tried to. You know,
I don't think so. I think they just kind of
and maybe it's because they think, okay, there's stuff that we're going to change or tweak about the presentation anyway. Mm-hmm. That it's a chance for them to kind of do whatever and try things out, and it gives them the chance to have that range of comedy to drama to again, because a lot of the things we said about Braun Breaker, if he was overdue to get called up to the main roster, but he'd been a white meat babyface and want to see what they had in him as a heel. Guess what he's doing on the main roster right now? Some of the best heel work going right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, NXT's good. NXT's really, really good. I'll pull up the AEW Dynamite.
I've already got it. We've got Mercedes Moné and Alex Windsor for the TBS Championship. Didn't happen.
No.
Okay.
No. This is not any kind of themed AEW, is it?
It is from the 2300 arena. There is a special ceremony honoring Taz. He's going to be hung in the rafters there. But, I mean, there's no affiliation to Mercedes with that. But
I don't think so. I'm going to say no.
8-man tag team main event. Hangman Kenny, JetSpeed, taking on Kyle Fletcher, Josh Alexander, and the Young Bucks.
Should be a good match.
I would agree. I mean, these guys, and we're slowly kind of building towards that Hangman versus Kenny, and we're gonna take the next step of that tonight, I think.
I would like that.
I would like that a lot too. Any final thoughts on anything that has happened wrestling this week? Oh yeah, AJ Lee definitely coming back on Friday. It sounds like somebody in WWE marketing definitely fucked up.
Until I hear the music and see AJ Lee herself, I'm not going to get my hopes up.
You're no fun.
I'm just not going to do it. Not going to do it.
That's fine. Whatever. That's going to do it for us tonight. We will be back tomorrow night. We're doing 6:45, Buzz. Is that the new start time tomorrow?
That might be the new start time for everybody. Just a shout out. Just a disclaimer. I don't know the word I'm trying to say. There's children running outside of my door right now. Yes, my son is in school, so schedules have changed a little bit. So we may be going permanently at 6:45. Sorry for the inconvenience, but it's not a gimmick.
We make that quite clear. Stay tuned for updates on all of our social medias. You can find us on X and TikTok at Junkies Pod. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Junkies Pod. But most importantly, do us a huge favor and subscribe to that YouTube channel, Podcast Dad. Hit them with that magic number. One person. Just like the Eagles are going to be 1-0 after tomorrow night. Just one person. Tell them about what? Don't you start.
Nothing. Tell them about how much you love us and how great we are and how.
I want my Bengal follow back, by the way.
That's the wrong chain. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I keep forgetting I have this. I keep forgetting
and I would like it back. Thank you.
I bet you would, wouldn't you? I bet you would. Might wear it tomorrow night during the Eagles game. Hopefully they don't make me mad.
that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you again to Vin Parker of Rhodes Wrestling Association for joining me. Tomorrow, Dax Anthony is going to come by and talk a little bit of Coastal Empire Wrestling. I would hope that he knows not to be an asshole, but
Don't test me, Dax.
Those
won't do
fuckers
anything.
hurt.
I'm terrified. Yeah, no, I'm terrified of Dax, so no, I'm good.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. That is going to do it for us. That's the podcast, Dad. I'm Mr. Cincinnati. This has been the Wrestling Junkies podcast. Until tomorrow, enjoy the grabs.